Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, there you are. Okay. How you been?
Good, good. I mean, just playing gigs here and there and everywhere, and
No,
nursing
no,
home.
I'm talking to Brian.
Oh, Brian. My bad. How you been, Brian?
I'm doing good.
I,
I'm doing
I
good.
already know what you're doing.
You know. So we got Danny Veras and we got Paul Sabu. Um, first, Danny, congratulations on the new album, Can't Stop the Rock, which comes out April 23rd. And congratulations, both of you.
Yeah, yeah, way to go, Danny.
Thank you, thank you, bro. Thank you. It's a great album. Yeah, I mean, a lot of good songs in there for
Cool.
sure.
Wow. Paul, now how much input have you did on this album?
Um, Look, I mean, I'm the plumber on it, so
Uh-huh.
it's like whatever. I quite a bit actually.
Uh-huh. Cool.
It's
Yeah,
Danny and I kind of worked on. We were going to put this album together before he got his band.
Right.
I mean, all playing on it and stuff like that. So it was mainly just he and I in the beginning, and then we got songs together, and then we got some other players on it.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Definitely a great album. I listened to it a couple times now, and there's so many good tracks and good music too, guitar work and everything. Production's amazing and stuff like that. Now, is this on an independent label or are you with a label?
yeah. It's called a Rock Company. Do you know it's an independent label, Paul?
Yeah. I mean, it's independent in the sense of I think all labels are independent.
Well, you're right. These days, yeah.
I mean, so they don't seem to think that they are, but they're all pretty small.
Right.
In comparison to like a label.
Right. Yeah. Do you feel you really need a label anymore?
Well, yeah, just one second.
Okay.
Well, a label is helpful, I guess,
Right.
especially when you're busy, you're working every day and trying to do everything on your own. There's no time for that. If
Right.
the label's gonna do some work, then it's worth it. It's just, it's always a guess. You never know if it's gonna work out or not. I mean, Zero Records was, a mess, for example, from that album, Never Give Up. But this one we'll see. So far, this label's doing pretty good. Yeah, they're putting it out there. That's what we want. We wanted people to listen to it, to get involved in it, and some interviews like with you and stuff.
Right.
Uh,
Cool, cool.
that's the
Paul,
idea.
what's your feeling about vinyl coming back?
Well, I would be hopeful. I don't. It's like places like CD Baby and things like that. They don't even sell CDs anymore. They make them. They make them, but they don't sell them.
Right.
And with all the wars on, they said like CD sales were down 60%, but stick sales were still up. Yet nobody makes sticks.
Right. Yeah.
So the whole thing is BS to me. I mean, it's like like they don't buy enough, and they're it's like in the places that do buy, like Japan and those kind of things. Half the people don't actually press vinyl there.
Right.
I mean, the labels don't. I mean, the labels are like, they're small independent labels. They think they're big. They act like, they pay you, the way labels used to be, they would take a percentage of, whatever you got for your deal is
Right.
what they paid their budget back with. Okay.
Right.
But they were selling hundreds of thousands of records. The record companies today still do the same deal like they were, big, except they're like selling like hundreds if they're lucky.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like it's not a fair deal. None of them are actually fair deals because they don't sell enough.
Right. Yeah.
So I hope this guy, is really good. I've heard some really good things about him. So
Good.
kind of
Good.
Danny really liked the guy. So I mean, I don't know. What do I know?
Hey man, you got to give it a shot, man. I tried many labels, and it's just hard to get in there, and the budget is very low these days, and it's hard to get something good. So sometimes you just got to go for it, I guess,
Cool.
and get it out there, man. We're not gonna keep the album at home forever. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Uh, I
Definitely.
gotta
Definitely. Now,
try.
do you,
Frank,
You
Brian, what do
like
you
it?
think
It's
of the
already
labels?
a good sign.
Are you going to play any shows?
But that's the idea. Yeah, that's the idea. You know, but at one point, I mean, let's see how it goes. You know, with the the sales, and I mean, if if it, it all depends on what's out there available. You know, what's
Right,
the offers, and and all that. You know, it's like, of course, we're not gonna play for a couple of $100
right, yeah.
on a bar around the corner. That's that's no doubt we're not gonna do it.
Well, don't say that. We may end up doing it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, well,
Oh,
might
oh,
as well
great.
like don't say nothing. Shut
right,
up.
wow. Now,
That's
was the album basically done with wave files and stuff like that? You weren't together, right?
Yeah,
absolutely,
no,
yeah, yeah,
it's like one of those things where you just kind of, internet it back and forth. It's actually pretty, it's a good process.
Uh-huh.
It's not, that's the only thing that I think the internet's really good for. You know what I
Right,
mean? It's like, and all the AI stuff to me is like, just makes you aggravated.
right, yeah,
That's kind of how, whatever they're putting into it as far as investments, they ain't doing enough.
right,
no,
yeah. Cool, cool.
Because I mean, they use it mostly for all the like the phone companies and all that stuff. And by the time you're off with the phone company, you need a psychiatrist.
Right,
You
yeah,
know, you go nuts. But
yeah,
doesn't even sound too real. I mean, it kind of
yeah,
sounds real, but it's not real 100%.
right,
yeah,
You
but
can
but
tell.
but the wave file stuff transfers are
Yeah,
proved to be you can make great stuff doing
yeah,
that in
right,
that way.
yeah. Cool,
yeah. I
cool.
mean, we've been doing this since the beginning on the first record. I mean,
Right,
always worked out pretty good.
cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool. Now, Paul, are you working on new material too?
Yeah, I'm kind of putzing with it, but basically the last time I put out with the label, I mean they kind of completely changed all their personnel and stuff like that, and from what I've been seeing and just different people telling me, they said that the music business was going to start to kind of remake itself in 2026.
Right, yeah,
Which I mean, but I think it might because
right,
places like Spotify and things like that are supposed to be out of business, which are pretty much destroy the life anyway. You know, as far as music business dream.
right, yeah,
And so if they go out of business, a few companies come back. Apple's supposed to come back, with a vengeance.
right.
Uh, it might change things around quite a bit.
Cool, cool. And Danny, co-writing with Frankie Banali, how was that?
You mean Paul? Paul was the one who.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I never met him. I never met Frankie.
Huh?
I never had the chance to meet Frankie, but I know Paul did. So I
Yeah.
know.
No, Frankie, kind of wanted to, extend his career some, and not that he really needed to extend it, but we just ended up writing. We became friends. We started writing songs, and that's just kind of how we did it. We just wrote a bunch of songs,
Right, yeah, cool.
and uh, a couple of them I really liked, and I played this one for Danny, and he just loved it. So
Yeah.
there, voila.
Cool, cool. Now,
Done.
Danny, me and Paul became friends because of his dad.
Yeah, the Jungle Book man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We spent
That's
hours
great.
on the phone talking about his dad, his mom, and his whole life. It was really entertaining.
Brian, you have
Yeah,
no idea what's transpired since then. Um,
tell me a little.
okay, well,
Right.
PBS wanted to do a special on my dad. You
Uh-huh.
know, okay, so I had like he died really young. I didn't really know him,
Right.
and so I had from my mom's point of view, I had like basically of what my childhood and everything like that, and she told me what everything was like. Well, turns out they've done a lot of investigating. They've spent a lot of money investigating his life
Uh-huh.
because he was raised when he was brought over to England to do all those movies like Thief of Baghdad and Jungle Book and all those movies.
Right.
The actual people that received him were the English mafia.
Wow.
Okay, so the thing of it is the Indian mafia was
Uh-huh.
actually the people who sent him. Okay,
Wow.
so he was like engulfed in this trade wars of mafiaism and stuff, and so like in all his movies, and they were like writing him off and doing political things within his movies. Okay, so that goes. Then they started researching my actual, like my childhood and stuff like that. Not mine, but his and everything like that. It turns out like I got 6 brothers. I got I don't know how many sisters. It's like I go things I don't want to know. I go, hey, I was fine without it.
Wow. Wow.
So I don't even know. I mean, people used to actually stop me and say, "Hey, I'm your brother." I go, "Yeah, right." Adios. And I guess they were.
Wow. 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 I bet you if you go on that ancestral website and stuff like that, I'm sure like the tree line's huge, So
Yeah, well, the thing it is like supposedly my dad was in the Maharaja Mysore adopted family, right? So he was like a big, big thing. And they can't go. And the reason why they even called me was because they can't go into India without me because I'm the only heir.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so they actually wanted to go this month. I said, "You out of your fucking mind?" You know what I mean? It's a no-fly zone. There are wars everywhere, And I mean, no way I'm going to go over there, and find out, that I'm an orphan or something. Like I have no idea what I'm going to be.
Wow.
So that just to put that in your of stuff
Cool. Wow. So Danny, sorry we got off the topic of your album.
Sorry, Danny.
Man, it's interesting. I like to hear about his stories too. I'm always excited to learn more about Sabu. He's a legend. He's a legend.
So let's go to your first solo album, I guess, Never Give Up in 2014. Tell me a little bit about that album and how was it received?
Really well. I mean, we signed with Z Records, which was, it was the option we had back then. Well, I didn't know how it was going to go, but they had some good bands in there. Like Von Groove, and I think Badlands was on that label. Still Hard. So I was like, okay, so those are the bands that I listened to when I was younger and stuff. And but it didn't work out very well with the label. But the people liked the album. I mean, on the interviews, the labels, and I mean
it was a great album.
I love it. Yeah, great album. Hell Rider, what a great song. Running Away, Hammer Down. Thorsten from Eden's Curse played the guitar on it. You got Pete Newdeck, also the great drummer from
yes, I know him.
Linkan. Yeah, he was with Paul Diano, Grim Reaper. You had Paul Sabu. Eventually, you send him a song and he does wonders. I mean, he makes a Frankenstein out of it.
Wow.
That's yeah, it's very, very, very good. That's why I love working with this guy. It just makes my songs like hits. He touch your soul somehow.
So let's
Brad, we have to do this more often. He never tells me that.
Yeah. Well, I admire you, man.
Let's go to the second album, the 2018, the album Under the Influence. Tell me a little bit about that album and how that goes.
Well, Under the Influence was like, we started. I was with the label before. We were working on this album before that was called Blow, Punch, and Strike, which never. Well, we were almost done. I think Vince Oregon was the guitar player. Vince Oregon, you probably know him, and the album never came to life. We were waiting for some tracks from Eric Ragno on keyboards and stuff. Yep. But yeah, I know. I think you did an interview a few years ago. Actually.
Yeah, actually, he came over to eat pizza.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's right. I think I see that. Yeah, but no, the album never came out. So I was like, yeah, what am I gonna do? I tell Paul, listen, I'm not sure if the album's gonna come out. It's taking 2 years already, and and the guys. So let's start something else for now because I need to do something. I can't wait, and say let's do some covers. Let's do it just for the fun of it,
Right. Yeah.
And then I was like, let's do another one. And then why don't we put a couple originals, make like something different, Let's twist the covers, make them sound a little bit more original, more modern, more. It turned out like a pretty cool album, but eventually covers was. Everybody plays covers these days, but what they don't know is that the covers are totally a different world. You know, it's
Right.
like you listen to Day Tripper from the Beatles, and it's something totally modern or futuristic. You know, I don't know how would I define those covers, but you know, they're very cool. They're very attractive. You know, they're nice. You know. And of course we got a couple originals. One of the songs from Paul, you know, it was like, hey, let's put this Blinded song in there, and you know, we got Peter in the Beto, also a song from his band Rewire, the Down to the Ground, right? Remember, it was kind of like
yeah.
country
Yeah, that was
feel,
great. That was great.
redneck thing, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think the album is pretty good. It's just not a lot of people heard about that album, but you know, it's not an original
Right.
kind of thing album. You know, it was a different concept. You know, but this is back. We're back on track with this album, and we got something else coming up. You know, we've been working on another record too. You know,
Cool.
you know,
Good.
so
Good.
it's
We almost got the next one done.
yeah.
Wow. Already.
We just can't
Wow.
say anything.
Wow.
We don't
Wow.
even have a name for the next album, but it's almost done. Yeah, you know, with
I think we're going to call it Bob.
Bob.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, Paul, what's the idea of lately in the music business? People just putting singles out now.
Probably because they can't afford any anymore.
Possibly.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you know, they can't afford groceries. How can they put out records?
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
Honestly, I don't know the accurate answer to that. I don't really know why. I mean, maybe it's like too big of a defeat to do, you know, a great album and then have like such little sales or like that, you know, hardly anybody see it because everybody's worrying about other stuff. You know, if everybody
Right.
stopped worrying about everything, you know,
Right,
it would
yeah.
go back. You know, I mean, it's like why Europe is cool. You know, Europe still loves music.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, and the United States doesn't. You know, I mean, it's
Mhm.
like, you know, everything, all the kids want it free and, you know, does it like that. And it's like, I have nothing against the younger generation, except they're mostly, you know, idiots who don't want to spend money, you
Yeah.
know.
Definitely. I mean, kids don't even go outside no more. They just play games all
I
day
know. Well,
long.
you know, I mean,
Right.
and that's true of adults too. I mean, ever since the
Yeah.
COVID thing, everybody wants to work from home,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I'm working from home, but I'm still,
Right, yeah.
you know,
Cool.
a different home. You know, it's like they don't want jobs anymore. It's like, you know, it's hard to get people motivated.
Cool.
And
Are you?
it's sad when when you put your heart and soul into something, you know, and you put it out and you know, you just love it and people, you know, like kind of react to it like the same thing as, you know, if you put out just a, you know, can of dog food or something, you know,
Right, yeah. Wow.
you know,
Wow. Cool. Are you working with any other bands at this time, Paul?
I'm not really. I got a couple of projects that you know, I've actually what I was trying to do, I was trying to get into some film stuff. You know, and I've been doing a couple of, you know, film things, and there's one thing that you know, I finished with this guy Danny Trejo. You know, it's a sci-fi thing, and it's actually pretty cool. You know, but I got to score it. You know, so it's not quite the same as like doing an album, but it's like, you know, they're racking, you know, these mini movies that are coming out. It's like the new thing. It's like, you know, it's not as big as the real big, you know, the big movie, and it's not like a trailer. It's like, you know,
Right.
like in between there, like, you
Yeah.
know, anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, they're just getting, you know, I mean, that's like the major sales on that, you know, I mean, the streaming
Right.
on that, and they're actually making money on it, you know.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Cool.
it's there's one thing I forgot what song it was, but it streamed 35,000 times, and I got like $4. You know, I mean,
That's
it's like
it.
I'm going, you know, great.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
almost buy a taco, you know.
Right. Yeah. Almost. You
You
know.
know,
So, Danny, who plays on this album? Do you do most of the music, you and Paul?
Well, yeah, we wrote most of the music. Yeah, I mean, he's got a couple songs that he put out of his pocket. You know, I think which one the Here I Go Again. Not from Whitesnake, by the way. Yeah, but yeah, that's a cool song, and there's I think there's another one. You know, which one is the other one? I forgot now.
I don't know.
I forgot. Damn
Right.
it.
We're on a different album now. I don't know.
No, the new album we're talking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but most of the songs we co-wrote. Oh yeah, but of course the Frankie Banali song he wrote
Right.
with Paul. Those two songs. Then the other songs we co-wrote everything, you know, arrangements and everything by Paul, of course. You know, great. you know, he did a great job. I'm very happy with this record, man. By the way, I got your picks, man. I got
Cool.
with
Cool.
my
Thank you.
with the name right
Yeah,
here.
I saw
Thank you.
those. I saw those. The way you packaged them up too is
I
amazing.
sent
Yeah,
you a
yeah.
few.
Yeah.
I sent
That's
you
Yeah.
about 5. Is that okay? Or you want
That's
more?
great. That's great. Great,
I got a
great.
bunch of those.
Cool.
Yeah.
Paul, you have any
Well,
of yours
hey,
left?
send me some.
Uh-huh.
You want
Send
some
me some.
too? I
Yeah,
didn't know you were a fan. I
anything.
mean, okay, I'll send you some. All right,
Great.
man. I didn't know you was my fan, man. I'm your fan.
Brian, I don't think Danny's being really humble now. I just
Uh-huh.
want just so you know. I mean, the guy's a star where he lives. You
Uh-huh.
know, I
Right,
mean,
yeah.
he plays
Well,
everywhere. You know, he's a monster guitar player, even though he doesn't act like he is. You
Right.
know, he sings anything. You
Uh-huh.
know,
I'm
and he's
okay.
a one-man band. I mean, he's just like, I mean, he doesn't even need the rest of us. You know,
Cool.
he's just, I mean, and people just love the guy. So I mean, he's got a fan base without putting anything out, even.
Wow.
So
You too,
I mean,
Cameron. Thank you,
you
buddy.
know, it's not.
Thank
He's
you,
just
brother.
being humble now.
Cool.
I guess I am by nature. I don't know.
Cool,
Yeah, that's
cool.
what I do. I play. That's my job. I'm a musician. I do restaurants, hotels, and all these private parties and nursing homes. Like,
Cool. Yeah. Cool.
hey, it works, man. It works. It's a good
All right.
job.
Danny, you have any merchandise you like to talk about that people could pick it up?
From me,
Yeah.
my personally, well, I have a copies of the album Under the Influence because we never got a deal with a label. I mean, whatever was out there, I was expecting something better, right? And it turned out, I mean, I have them at home, and sometimes I sell them, sometimes I give them away, but I have a bunch of those, the Under the Influence album, you know. I think I sell them for $15 or $12. I don't know. I
Right,
don't
yeah.
remember right now. Whatever works.
Yeah. The only thing that
labels.
the only thing that kills is the postage. I mean,
Yeah, the postage is the
oh my
problem, especially
God,
on Europe. Yeah,
half the time the postage costs more than the product.
I heard there's a website called Pirate Ship
Oh yeah?
that does it for you. You should check it out.
Uh-huh.
PirateShip.com, and you give the weight
Uh-huh.
and the size, and it send you the label. You go
Right.
to the post office, and it goes to 90% cheaper.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The guy told me about it yesterday, and I opened an account. I'm gonna try it because I'm trying to send some stuff, and it's just still
Yeah.
ridiculously expensive. I mean,
I-
no wonder why people don't want to buy a record now.
Yeah.
That's also another reason. It's very freaking expensive.
I just
Yeah.
mailed a couple magazines to Greece and it was $31.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
And will it get there?
Yeah, it got there. 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. Okay.
3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Without a bombing.
Yeah. So, Paul, you got any merchandise you like to talk about that people could pick it up? Your old albums or anything?
No, but I'll remake them if they want them.
Uh-huh.
I'll sell it. I'll sell anything.
Uh-huh. Cool. So, Paul, you have anything else coming up that you like to talk about?
I would say like let's try about like in 26 and see, because I'm gonna start working on another record. We're gonna finish Danny's new record. I got a couple things that I might do, and probably by 26, we'll start putting stuff out again. Actually,
Cool.
putting out. I mean, Danny, we're working on the next album with Danny, and he really wanted to get this album out before the next one. What I mean, rather than doing a 2-album deal, and which is kind of why the thing is happening right now.
Right.
But
Cool.
I think maybe the first of the year, because I'm really getting kind of antsy.
Uh-huh. Wow. You do any live shows at all?
Down here, I'm in Baja now,
Uh-huh.
and they got like these places all over because they have the Baja 250, 500,
Right.
the 750 and 1,000 now, and what basically it's a race, it's like race, but these cars are like, $1.5 million for, each car. And
Right.
they go around these tracks, the dirt tracks, and they got to have, the suspension, has to be like, 6 feet of, be able to do that kind of stuff. And it's amazing. So like the crowds that get here are like Woodstock,
Wow.
Seriously, because
Okay.
this race, this race is different from all other races because more people die on these tracks than anywhere in the world.
Wow.
So everybody comes down here. I mean, it's like beyond a party zone. So they always have these bands, and they used to be just blues bands that would play, during the time. Now
Right.
they've gotten into some hipper stuff that like some actual playing rock stuff. And so I go play with these guys all the time, not all the time, but like
Right.
every couple months when there's a race. And it's I just do it for fun, but it's a great fun.
Cool. 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 Paul, what was the biggest highlight in your career?
Biggest one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Uh,
Uh, probably doing the Monsters of Rock and Red Square, because like I
wow.
never played in front of a million people before.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
I didn't even see the million people. I mean, it's like it was so big, but
Wow.
it was intense. It was like we did it a couple of nights, so it's like and then we went back again and played for the Chernobyl kids,
Right. Uh-huh.
and I mean, in that they were small, arenas, and they were 80,000 seaters. So I mean, those were like some of the better, moments when you actually were helping people, that I really
Right.
liked, and but I'd say that's kind of hard to top that one,
Right. Yeah. Wow.
as
Wow.
far as the gig goes,
Cool. Cool.
and I mean, as far as recording, I don't know. I mean, it's like, it's like everybody I know has died, so it's like,
Uh-huh.
that I've worked on, and but every one of them had like an amazing thing.
Right. Yeah.
You're awestruck the whole time,
Cool. Cool.
and it's just so it was. I think that I think the Red Square thing I can't get it. I'll never get that out of my mind.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Cool. Cool. How about you, Danny?
My most exciting moment playing in
Yeah.
front of people.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's different. Probably in Thunder on the Lot over there in California when I played with my band 7 months.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Cool.
the biker place, Palmdale,
Uh-huh.
2000, I don't remember, 2004, 2000,
Hmm.
2004, I think. Yeah. That was one of them. And then in Switzerland, also the Ice Metal Festival. That
Uh-huh.
was pretty big. I mean, talking about heavy metal and hard rock and stuff, but then like by myself, I play a lot of restaurants where a lot of people it gets
Right.
crowded. But
Uh-huh.
that's pretty much what I do. I don't play a lot of live gigs with band and everything. I mean, I've done it, but it was not like big stages or everything. So I'm dying to do something like that before I die, of course. Going on tour and probably go with Paul on tour. Come on, man, let's
Right.
do
Yeah.
that.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm
Cool.
there.
I
Wow.
mean,
I got a toothbrush packed already.
but yeah, I mean, I play all the time. I'm very very used to the crowds, and so it's
Right.
fun.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even around here, like some bars, sometimes I'll go and like Randy Jackson from Zebras just sitting there on a stool,
Yeah,
playing a song. Mark Ferrara,
yeah.
will
I
be
know.
playing.
He was here too. He played
Yeah,
in Florida. He was playing at the same bar I was playing actually.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, Brian
so
Jackson
it's pretty cool.
with an
I
acoustic
mean,
guitar.
it's a good feeling to have that little intimacy, doing small shows or bars or whatever, keep your
Yeah,
chops up and stuff like that. So, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
anything else we have to talk about? You want to talk about? We both probably have new albums coming out in 2026. Paul and Danny.
Yeah, hopefully we will get the other album going, and I mean it's the other. I like both. I mean this new album we're doing right now is really really cool. We did with the Spanish guitar player actually.
Uh-huh.
Hopefully he'll show up at one time. He kind of disappeared. He got married, he's got a baby and everything.
Right.
People change their mind sometimes, but but we love him. He's a great guy.
Uh-huh.
And Linkan Andersson also he played on this album we just did. We didn't even mention him, which
Uh-huh.
I'm very sorry. Lincoln is a great guitar player, great solos. He's the guy soloing all over the album. And you know, you know, what else can I say? We hope to get a little feedback from
Uh-huh.
the fans of this kind of style. The hard rock metal
Uh-huh.
community, and hopefully, well, we get out there one day.
Cool.
Tough
Cool.
times though. tough times. I have to say, it's not easy now with AI, like you said, and but we're going for it. We never give up, man. We never give up.
Okay, Paul. So maybe a solo album
Yeah.
next year, Paul.
Yeah, I'm going to put out one in 26 for sure.
Cool.
Because I mean, I just didn't do it this year because because of all the garbage that's going on. It's like I mean, I never used to watch the news.
Right, yeah.
I mean, and I'm really aggravated that I am. What I
Right,
mean,
yeah.
watching it at all, but they made me. What I mean, like I'm thinking about like, oh no, this guy's invading over Egypt and Slovakia and all this stuff, and I go, I just never I never cared about it before, and all of a sudden I care about it.
Cool. Yep. That's me in the morning. I get a cup of coffee and watch at least an hour. At least an hour
See what I
of
mean?
news
That's
right
what I mean.
away.
Like I mean, we never used to do that.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Yeah.
So, Danny, congratulations on the album and good
Thanks,
success.
Brian.
Paul, it was great talking to you. And
it was
I
fun,
enjoyed
Brian.
my chat and stuff like that. Paul, would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
Yeah, listen, Danny Veras' album rocks. Go get it at what's the name of that company? Rock Company.
That was a good one. Good job.
Rock Company. It's out of the Netherlands. Great label from what I understand. And just it's the place to find Danny's record.
And thanks to Peter Cox for putting in touch with us and
yeah. Well, I'm sure
making
label.
this
You
interview.
can tell.
He should be here too, man.
Yeah.
It's a cool
And definitely check out Brian. Have you seen Danny's video?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
Rich
great.
I love that.
Great. Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
great. So Danny, you have anything to say to the fans out there?
Yeah, check out the video, by the way. It's got a lot of views. It's got already like 28,000 or probably
Wow.
30,000 already,
Cool.
Who knows how he got there, but he got there. And,
Yeah.
check out, it's a fun video we did in LA with Nolan, on the drums, Nolan Richards, and Offer, and, my friend JC, I got to say, and, Eric Boadella, good job. He's the director for the videos from, he worked for Frontiers he did all these videos for Frontiers that you see there. He's the same
Right,
guy.
yeah. Wow.
He did a few videos for LA Guns, the guys from White Snake with Striper guy, and really cool, really cool. Nothing else, man. I could be telling you many more things, but I think the most important we said, and thanks for having us here, and and cool to see you, Paul.
Yeah, good to see you, Paul. Yeah. Cool. Thanks a lot, you guys. See you later.
See you later,
Brian. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Don't be too long next time. Let's do this again.
Bye. See you later. Bye bye.
See you later.